Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you how I make a TN using these file folders from the Dollar Tree. I'm doing a voiceover, so it might look weird as I'm talking. Here I'm just showing you what those look like. They are from the Dollar Tree. They are from the brand name Jot. I already cut one down, but I'm going to show you how I cut them. I found these with the school supplies, with all the back to school stuff. You see that label? It peeled right off of the floral ones, but off the cactus ones, I had to use some remover, which I'm actually going to show you later, the adhesive remover that I used. I'm just cutting off those pockets there very easily with some scissors. And I might forget what I do here, so I'm just watching this at the same time and doing the voiceover, so I might forget some things, but those easily cut out, and I am going to save those pieces because they're a nice firm plastic, which is great to use as my washi sample cards or any other kind of projects that you might want to use them for. So we're taking off the other one, and with this you can actually get two pocket-sized TNs, or you can get maybe one B6. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but each side will give you a pocket TN. There's the undo that I used to remove it because I had issues peeling off that sticker on that one. We're actually going to do the cactus one, but here I'm just showing you how to cut this. Now in the middle there's going to be some holes, and that fold mark, we're going to cut that out, and it's going to give you two sheets, separate sheets there. And I'm going to cut as close to the holes as possible, but removing the side with the holes. And as you can see, I'm just using a regular paper trimmer. I'm pointing at the 9-inch mark. You're actually going to get about 9 by, I want to tell you 11 inches, but I can't remember the length. So, but it gives you a nice piece there that you can use for a lot of projects there. But today we're just going to use this for a pocket-sized TN. Now, the pattern of your folders are going to decide your TN. So this particular pattern can go in any direction, so it's not directional. With the cactus, it is. So I was only able to do 2, but I feel that I could make 4 out of that floral one, maybe. um, maybe, I don't know. But with the cactus, certain areas of, the images are not going to be the same as the other ones. So I think I kind of show you, but all right, so here are the cactus ones, and it measured 9 by 11 and a half. So it's a good piece of plastic that you can use for projects. And I'm kind of looking at the pattern and seeing where it is that I want to cut it, because, some parts are nicer than others. What cactus do I want to keep? What images I want to keep in my TN. So this one's going to get cut off, in odd places. And it's reversible. Both sides are the same, so I can turn it around in any side that I want to, depending on what I would like my cover to look like on the front. So right now I'm just going to be cutting it down to a 6-inch height by I think, let me remember. While I'm cutting there on screen, I'm going to be looking in my booklets, my notes. So normally my covers are 8.5 long when I laminate them. So I think I leave it at 9 inches. I'm not sure as far as the length. Right there, I'm just kind of trimming off a little extra. And here's where I decide what part I'm going to use. I think that's when I go with. So it's going to be 6 inches that I cut there. That's going to be the height of my finished TN of just the cover. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I'm just making sure that it's 6 inches. I usually double check, even though I have my notes and everything, but there is differences when you cut paper to laminate and when you cut something that's already finished and you're not going to laminate. So if you had to laminate, then you would cut it a little shorter than that. See that piece right there, you can make either a micro TN out of, or a dashboard. I don't know, you know, you could just use that extra for something else. So here I'm kind of deciding what part do I want to see on the front of my TN. And you know, I just looked at it, and now I don't know what I'm doing again. Oh, I'm double checking my length just to make sure, because the numbers that I have written down are for a laminated version. So let me see. I try to keep the ruler part like lower on my screen so that everybody could see it, even me. I'm cutting it at 9 inches. Remember, it was 11, it was what, 10 and a half? Oh, I didn't cut it, I left it. It looked like it was 9.5 inches. Let me, yeah, if it's different, I'll just write it in. So I actually am going to cut my corners, around my corners, with my corner chomper. The first time around, it kind of worked. Some of them didn't cut off completely, but when off screen, when I did a second TN, I actually got the hang of cutting those, you know, cleanly all the way off. At least with that material, it actually worked. And I think I had it cut with scissors. Don't pull the plastic like I did. I actually took a chunk out when I did that, but I fixed it later on. I suggest if you got pieces hanging, just cut it with scissors like I'm doing there. So that's my cover with rounded corners. I'm not going to be scoring anything on here. Normally I do some score marks in my laminated TNs, but this time I decided to leave it so that it would be like a nice rounded binding, or rounded spine. So I'm looking at it thinking, I don't need to do any score marks. So I got my felt marker out. That's a flare pen. I'm going to be using it to mark my holes. And there's my crocodile. And I'm going to be, this part is kind of what I do all the time, except for this time, since I don't have my score marks to go by, I actually have to measure the center. And if I could figure out what it says there, it's 9 inches. So I'm going to mark my first hole. I'm just checking my width and length. I'm going to mark it at 4.5 in the middle. That's going to be my very center. And then I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch on either side. And I only do the top holes first because the ink does smudge off easily. So I don't want to make all my marks and then later on they're going to get smudged off and then I got to redo it. So I'm just kind of seeing, I wanted to keep it just about 1/4 of an inch from the very edge. So now after I did my middle hole, I'm going to go over to the left and to the right 1/4 of an inch and make 2 more marks. And I'm going to make the holes with the crocodile using, I think it's the 1/8 inch. Or is it 3/8 inch? No, I think it's a 3/8. The smallest setting on that thing. And when I do this, I first do the middle, and then on the left and the right, I actually go just past my mark that I made, so it's a little further apart, not right on my dots. They should be about 1/4 of an inch apart. So now we're going to do the bottom, same way. I was trying to show you the holes, but no matter what I tried, you can barely see them. I just wanted to show you the holes, but they're there. It's kind of hard with transparent stuff. So we're going to do the same thing to the bottom part. Mark your middle hole at 6.5, and then one on the left and one on the right, 1/4 of an inch apart. And, you know, do the holes. And FYI, like always, I do have a playlist of tutorials down below. Anything regarding to TNs that I have out there. I do have a very long list of tutorials. I didn't even realize. I went over and checked. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of tutorials. I've got all sorts of tutorials, covers, different sizes, how to string your elastic, how to make some inserts, how to do insert covers and shakers and all kinds of goodies related to TNs. Again, trying to show you the holes. You can kind of see them there. Now for the middle, we're going to take the ruler and go across the two center holes right in the middle of each hole to get our center, and it's 6 inches, so it's going to be a mark on the 3-inch line, and that's your middle hole. And then we're just going to punch that out. I was just looking what side I like. Like I said, both sides are exactly the same. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I'm just kind of comparing and putting it over to see how it's going to be. I probably would have edited this part out, but I'm kind of lazy today. I just want to do the voiceover. Alright, so I'm using my cream colored elastic. It's, I want to tell you it's 2 millimeters. I don't know if I got measurements here, but I do get it from a place called Mandala Crafts, all A's, and through Zibbit. No, take that back. It's from Amazon, but the name of the place is Mandela. And I want to tell you it's 2 millimeters. I'm not sure. It's a cream color. This was the first time that I used that one. We are putting our straps in, and what I'm going to do is cut them down. Cut 2 pieces. I think I'm only cutting one first, though. I do have measurements for that too. I've done this many times, but I'll tell you again, it's about 20 inches in length for the insert part, which will give you 4 elastics for 4 inserts. And then for the strap that goes around your TN, it's 13 to 14 inches. I always do a little extra so, you know, that I can make my knots. I'm going to be using my jumbo plastic needle that I found at joann's.com. Comes in a 2-pack, and it really does help. This is, I think, the second time that I use that. Wish I've had it for a while now, but hey, it does work out. It helps. You don't need it, but it does help make things a little easier for you. So we're just going to string it like I normally do. Depending on what is your front. With the needle, actually, I'm going to start from the inside of my cover and then run it all the way through and just pull it and leave that extra for the knot. So we're going to go, oh, you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of behind now as far as me trying to voice this over. It's with the needle, I go from the inside out and then back in through the left, and then to the bottom I go through, turn to the middle, and then come out there, and I just keep going. Again, I do have a tutorial on that where I verbally say what I'm doing there. I got many tutorials. I just mainly wanted to show you how to use this plastic folder from Dollar Tree. And you can do this method with any material. You just got to look at things differently. Placemats, you know, that would be cute. Dollar Tree has a lot of placemats. Okay, with this it's a little harder not to stretch it too much, so I'm trying to leave a lot of not tension. What's the reverse of tension? The opposite. Slack. I'm trying to leave a little bit of slack because I don't want to pull it too tight. It's a little bit thin, the material, so it will easily buckle. So I'm trying to even it all out and just leave enough slack so when I put my inserts it doesn't pinch the top and the bottom. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm still trying to even everything out. Okay, so now we're going to just do a double knot here, Again, not pulling too much so that it buckles, but you do want a tight knot. And then I trim it down a little bit. So now we're going to cut the other piece. I already mentioned the measurements. I just use my ruler to measure it out. There's 12, 13, 14 inches. And I make a loose knot first, and then what I do, and I do this to every single TN that I make, I grab some inserts, whether they're going to be used in this or not, and put them in. I don't actually put them on the elastic yet. I just put them in like so. Then I put my elastic around it and kind of guesstimate, you know, where I want to make that knot. And I do it to every single TN that I make, because all the elastics are different stretchability. I don't know what to tell you. Tension. Some are looser than others. So sometimes you got to tie it a little, you know, tighter, and sometimes you need more slack. That one's a bit loose, so you know, I go in and I try to pull it out a little more, and then I can make it a tight knot. And then we're just going to trim the extra, and we're going to test it out. Those are not the inserts that I use, but those I actually found at Michael's, their Recollections brand. And we're just going to insert them for now, just to test this whole thing out, because this is the first time I actually used this material to make a TN, and it was a test run. So I'm putting them all in. To see how it is. So I'm looking at it and see if I like it. I just keep looking at if it's loose, too loose or not. Now that material kind of wants to just not really flatten out. So I don't know if I show it here or not, but I do go in there and kind of not really fold it, but just bend it a little bit so that it's not bowed so much. I'm not sure if I show that here. You see how the covers are so rounded? Okay, so I think I'm just taking them out now. I just don't know what I'm going to do next. Okay, right there. See what I'm doing? What I'm trying to do there is just to keep or make it a little more flatter, but I don't want to give it a crease mark. I like the rounded look on the spine, but this way it's going to just flatten it out. And then later on, I don't do this on camera, I stack that. I actually made two of these. I stack them and put a little bit of weight, not a lot, and left them overnight so that the plastic would just kind of settle down a little more, and this way they're not so rounded on the spine. So I put them back in, and I don't know, I think I do show you how I just attach a little dangle on there. Not quite sure. At that time it's a little bit less rounded, but like I said, overnight I had stacked some a little bit of weight, not a lot, and it flattened out even more. But I thought right there it was already cute. So I went into my little stash of dangles for TNs and took out the two cactus dangles that are from Hobby Lobby. They come together and they're all ready to just clip onto things. So I put one on, and I think that's it. So there you go. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.